everybody or anybody. I have a pretty strong feeling this is going to be a very lightly attended stream since Janet and Dimi are performing at Gen Con right now. But the show must go on, so we will go on. I see a Dan141 hiding in chat. Are you a real person? If you're a real person, please just say hi. I've been getting a raft of spam bots, and I don't want to wipe somebody out who's real. So just one little piece of text in the chat, please. Okay. Well, we're recording for posterity's sake, so we might as well get started. Maybe somebody will join us. Now that summer camp is over and things are calmed down, it's time for me to start getting back to what I was originally doing. Having joined World Anvil literally just a few days, a week, maybe 2 weeks before summer camp, the first thing I was doing was trying to get all of my notes that were scattered all over my my desktop computer into organized and into place in World Anvil. And then summer camp came around, and that got put on the back burner, and we had the fun and thrill of summer camp. So now it's time to get back to organization, and I figured what I'm going to do on Sunday streams is focus on the Atlas end of things. There will be mapping. It's not going to be. I'm not a cartographer, so my Sunday streams are not going to be 2 hours of watching me draw. There will be some mapping, all right, but it will. I won't call it. I won't call it quick and dirty. I mean, it'll hopefully be nice work, but it won't be the quality work that some of the other streamers and some of the other folks on World Anvil can put out. And that's fine. It doesn't need to be, at least not for now. But what I do want to focus on is not just creating the maps, but integrating the maps into a World Anvil world, and into in particular, into an atlas that can be used as reference by my players. I am doing this as a RPG campaign setting. But my players and anybody else interested in learning about how the world of Cartyrion works So, you know, an atlas is one of the major things. I have gotten some work done already. As you can see, I've already thrown together a World article that covers the geography and the history of the world, of the physical world. And you can see I do have a few maps incorporated into here. What I'm going to start working on today, I think, though, is taking these maps and over here on the sidebar, you'll notice I've got a whole raft of geographical and geopolitical features. And first of all, I think I'm going to split these up a little bit. And I'm going to focus, I think, on a physical geography, and then we'll have a whole separate section on a political geography. And by doing that, I'll probably end up moving some of these things, the Dwarven Delves and the major cities, will end up getting moved over to the political geography category. But right now, again, we have a map, and the map has mountain ranges and oceans and seas and other major bodies of water, and a couple of deserts and a couple of major forests, 7 major forests to be exact. But right now, these are just lists of names, and these are just maps with no identifying features on them. So I think one of the first things I want to do is start labeling or pinning up some of these maps. Now, the first question I come to, I guess, is which version of the map? Because I have 4. And the 4 versions of the map that I have, I'm going to bring them up in a larger format. First, we start with the world as it was created and as it was first planted, shall we say. This is before the first intelligent creatures walked the world. And as you can see, again, we have mountain ranges, and they tend to ring along the coasts. There's a couple of land masses with great basins of sorts in them. Those are there. A couple of interesting things about the land features of this map, which you may or may not have noticed at first. Cartyrion is one continuous landmass. All right, if you start up here at the very North Pole, just off the North Pole, actually, at the northernmost point of land, you can walk. Actually, you get to walk in 2 directions. But if you kind of walk this coast and come here, then you end up coming around here. You find yourself walking all the way to the South Pole. Now, if you take the different branch from here and go off this way, then that brings you back around here. But of course, you could have gotten there right from going along here. And it's Songbird. Hello. Here for a private showing today? I didn't expect a huge crowd today. First of all, Chrysalia, she had a wrap up early, so there was, although she didn't have that many today. I think a lot of people are decompressing today. But Janet and Dimmy are also doing Gen Con right now, so it's going to be nice and quiet. So if you're willing to put up with me, Esong, you'll get to hear an awful lot about the, today is comfy clothes day. And today you're going to hear you're going to hear from me an awful lot about the geography and a little bit of the history of my whole world. Oh, you did get sleep. Good. That actually was the first thing I was going to ask, because I know you were going for like 30 odd hours without it, um, and not just going without sleep, but you had finals and the crush of everything else. I didn't get a chance. I heard you were on some streams last night. I missed you on some of those streams because I had a couple of gaming sessions to do. But I do want to congratulate you verbally on getting everything done. I think it's really funny that all the scramble, you got everything done with a minute to spare, and then the first thing Dimmy does when he gets on the stream is says, everybody's got 15 more minutes. So, Walking Dead, welcome. Yeah, I was just saying. In fact, I think I was talking just into my. I bet you laughed. Yeah. I think I was just talking into my what will be the recorded version of this stream. Um, but let me jump back. I can kind of start over. I really didn't do anything that mattered yet. When I joined World Anvil literally 10 days a week or something like that before summer camp started. And the first thing I was planning on doing was gathering up all my crap from, notes and pictures and files and spreadsheets and all that sort of stuff that are scattered all over my hard drive, and start to load them into World Anvil so that I knew what I had and, started to get things organized. Well, I got a couple of days into that, and of course there's a couple days to learn how it works, and then there's a couple days of actually doing that, and then summer camp started. So once summer camp started, that went all out the window, and we had 31 days of madness, as we all know. Now that that's over, it's time for me to get back to getting organized so that I can see exactly what I've got, and I know where I need to start focusing, for my overall world building. Well, one thing I had started to do was essentially put together an atlas of the world that will describe the physical world, the geopolitical world, and I have to kind of describe it through history. Now, again, any of you folks that were following a lot of the articles that I put in, you've seen a lot of times I refer to the Great Strife and 2,000 years ago, and the awakening of the elves and all of this kind of stuff. Well, okay, let's see what do we got here. Actually, really excited for the geography. Yeah, I mean, I will be on Sundays. I plan on using Sundays um, let's call it. I don't want to call it map making. There will be map making, but I'm not going to be doing map making like Delian, for example, does map making. I'm not going to have 2-hour streams of me, carefully hand drawing every mountain on a map. Um, when I'm doing map making, not that it's going to be quick, not that it's just quick and dirty, slap it in, but the tools are a little less detailed. But when I'm making maps, they'll be for a purpose. They'll be to fill out a need within the world and within the atlas. And we'll see a couple of examples of what I've done so far, and I'll walk you guys through actually my process for coming up with the world, and why some things are going to look like they look. What else do we have here? What was Esong saying? Yeah, you're excited for the geography. Good. You realize in your tired haze you need to make a map of what your world looks like. Summer camp's given me the confidence to make my RPG session my own. This means making my own map too. Yeah. I know you're doing the Salt Marsh. I don't think Salt Marsh was placed in any canon world. I could be wrong, but I don't think it was. That being said, and whether it was or not, you can build your own world around it. I mean, I know that the Saltmarsh setting has some mapping built into it, but all you need to really do is make sure that there's a place in your world where you can drop that in. So let's see, what else do we got here? Thanks, Walking Dead. Yeah, I do plan on being on your stream. By the way, I'm going to be anybody that does join here will be rated over to you, Esong. I was actually happy to see you were right on the schedule behind me. If we're lucky, if I'm as lucky as I was yesterday, when Janet and Dimmy finished up yesterday, Samurai, who kind of handles all that stuff for them, rated me, and it did real good things for my Twitch numbers, because I had 134 people in chat after that raid. Now they didn't all stay, but I did get about 8 or 9 new subscriptions. I got 8 or 9 new follows. I did get 1 or 2 subscriptions. How do I make my maps? I'm gonna get into that. So anyway, what I was gonna say, Esong, is I'm hoping that if I do get rated by those groups again, and I can hold on to them for an hour, might have a good sized bunch to pass off to you when you start your stream. So should be fun. How do I make my maps? Okay. The first thing I do is I use a tool called Fractal Terrain Generator. And I'm going to bring it up. I have it ready to go. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I want to zoom this down and size it. Okay. And I'm kind of starting from the middle here a little bit, but I'm going to show you how this thing works. This is the completely automatically generated version of my world. Now, I like this tool because yes, process. Let me catch up here a bit. Oh, it is in Greyhawk. Oh, so technically you have world maps, but you don't need to, again, because you can again, build your own world and drop things in. Goodbye, comfy clothes. Oh, we'll see what happens. So anyway, Fractal Terrain Generator literally generates all this, and I'll show you how it works. I'll actually go through a couple of samples and what it does and how you can use it. The first interesting thing about it, you'll notice the map projection that I use here. And if I get too technical and start sounding boring because I'm too technical, then yell at me in chat, please, folks. One of the things that's always a problem with world maps is how do you represent a 3-dimensional world on a 2-dimensional piece of paper? Now, we're all familiar with rectangular maps, and we've all seen the world maps, for example, that make Greenland twice the size of Australia, and that's because Greenland is up around the poles. This particular projection attempts to peel the skin off the globe. The left and right sides, and I wish it didn't cut that off. Oh, let me just. Oh, it just needs to be readjusted. There we go. Let's see if it rescales. There we go. Good. The left and right extreme edges of this are the same point. All right. So if you're walking, if you can see, I assume you can see my cursor. If you're way over here on the right and you walk off the right edge, you appear on the left edge. All right. So, but the nice thing about this projection is it keeps the poles kind of the way they're supposed to be. And if you want to see what I'm talking about, all right, you can see at the very top of at the very North Pole area, there's a small landmass up there. There's a relatively small landmass around the South Pole as well. One of the things I can do in this tool is change the projection And if I do to a typical rectangular map, you can see the mess that it makes at the poles. Alright, everything gets really horribly distorted unless you're working right in the middle. Alright, the middle looks pretty good, you know, and so forth. So anyway, like I said, I like to work with this one particular projection, which is called moleweed or moleweed. They call it a pseudo-cylindrical. All right, it looks good too to me anyway. It looks like a good world map. So I go with this. So anyway, how does this tool work? If I wanted to, and don't worry, I'm not going to lose my real map. This is a demonstrator copy. I can come in here and just say I want to build a new map, a new world. So what do I want to build? I want to build a synthetic world. And I put in a few bits of information. How high do I want the tallest mountain to be? Let's make this one fun. Let's go 35,000 feet. That's about what Mount Everest is, I think. How low do I want the oceans to go? Because it'll actually map out ocean depths as well. We'll keep that at 15,000 feet. That's fine. 25,000 miles circumference. That's Earth size. You'll see there's just a random number in here for world seed. I don't care about the method, but here's the other interesting bits that I want. How rough do I want the map to be? And we're going to put that right in the middle to start. How much sea versus land do I want? Let's say we want to have a few small island continents, because that's usually a good way to do things. And then the next thing is, once I've decided how much of the whole world is going to be land, do I want that to be a few big pieces or lots of little pieces? So let's put that right in the middle at first to see what happens. Alright, and then I just hit next, and it's going to build a world. And boom, there's an island world. Now I look at this and say, okay, that's nice, but it's too many little islands. I'd like to have a bigger landmass. So I come back in and come back to the world settings. And let's go with, we'll just change the land size to larger land size and apply. And it'll redraw it. And it didn't make much of a difference at all, did it? So basically you play around with these sliders until you get the map you want. Now there's a busy looking map. Oh, that's because I went smaller instead of larger with this. That's what the problem was. So let me put that back where it was. Alright, so now maybe we're talking. Alright, now we have a couple of largish continents with a few island chains in between, a few big seas. And you can basically just, you know, keep going here and playing with this. And if you don't like that, if you finally don't like this map, even using the same settings, I can come up here and under map, if I click next world, it'll generate a new one. And a new one. And it remembers the seeds, so I can even go back to the ones I liked before. So with this, oh, and the other thing I can do is, like, I'm looking at this and this looks interesting, but there's something weird. You know, what does this landmass really look like on the edges? I'm not sure. I can come in and I can actually change where the center of focus is on the map. I'm basically rotating the globe when I do this. This is it's fractal. I don't know if I'm hoping it's available separately. I got it in a package with Campaign Cartographer, and Campaign Cartographer is a little pricey. It's the first mapping tool I used, and I used it for a long time to do, you know, all the rest of the mapping work. It's a good tool, but it's hard to learn. And it gets really, I mean, it's expensive to begin with, and it gets stupid expensive when you realize that to make useful maps, you have to buy all kinds of extra add-on asset packs and things. So I've gotten away from using it for the rest of my mapping. Right now, like I said, I use fractal terrain pretty much to not to just to generate the borders, you know, the coastlines, but also to show me where the good mountains and things are supposed to be. And there are a few other settings I can do in here, by the way. We can play around with things. This right now is an altitude map. You know, it's colored and shaded to show altitudes and depths. But it'll also do things like show me different climate zones, and it'll show me rainfall projections, and it can show me temperature gradients, and I can actually go in and change those in the map settings. And if I change the temperature gradients, it'll turn certain things into deserts that weren't deserts anymore, and all that. I don't get too into all of these things. I could. Sometimes I play with them when I'm bored. But yeah, I will put together a little information pack on where these things, where they are and what they do. So anyway, you know, having played around with this, I settled on, you know, the map I wanted, and sent and moved around the left right to get the view that I wanted to be quote unquote the world. The next thing I did, and this was something I did just before hitting World Anvil, was using a product called Incarnate. I took this map, well, not this one, but my world one, imported it into Incarnate as a underlayer, and then basically just traced all the coastlines in Incarnate. Took a little bit of time, but it wasn't too bad. And the end result of that, and then once the coastlines were done, then I started playing around with shadings and putting in where forests are supposed to be and all that sort of thing. And what you're looking at now is the result of that process. All right, and this, for me, this is the world as it existed after creation and after the plants were brought into existence. Now, in my history, this was about 21,000 years before the current time. So it's not millions of years. We don't have millions of years of evolution. One of the beauties of fantasy is you don't have to deal with things like that. So as you can see, there's a lot of trees. There's a couple of deserts. There's a couple of cold zones. A few big inland bodies of water. Some of them are salt and some of them are fresh water. The seas are all there, and I got nice sharp looking coastlines and a couple of interesting islands. So I was pretty happy with this. Where do the dwarves live? I'm about to get to that. So the next thing I did was, so this, like I said, this is before what I call the awakenings, which is when the all of the intelligent, you know, the people of the world were created, and by people I mean elves, dwarves, gnomes, goblins, humans, orcs, etc. Real quick, I'll give you a quick rundown. First of all, this over here is the area that I'm concentrating on my detailed world building right now. This is the Feywood. All right, and this is what it looked like at first, and keep this in mind because we're going to see this evolve through the 20-odd thousand years. All right, you can see the Feywood pretty much fills up this whole basin. All right, except for a little bit of coastland. This is the Elven Home Forest, and right in the middle, you can't really see it here, but if I were able to zoom this is just photo viewer, so it doesn't have that many good zoom to. Actually, I could zoom it. At least I think I can zoom it. Yeah, I can zoom it a little bit. this big gold tree in the middle of the forest, this is where the elves were first awakened. So all of the elves source from here. Now, they've since spread over the whole world, and at the very least occupy all of the major forests, and there are 7. And I'm not going to remember them by name right now, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is 6, and I think I did that one, and this guy I think is number 7. Where do the dwarves live? The dwarves, they were awakened in, and again, the first dwarves were awakened in one place. They were awakened in this mountain right here. All right, but again, in the 20,000 years since, they've spread everywhere. And in fact, there are a number of other major mountains around the world where the dwarves have what I call the delves. When you see delves, uppercase, mentioned in Cartyrion, you're talking underground dwarf city that can be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dwarves. There's another one down here. There's an important one over here. There's one right around here. There's one here. There's one out here. All right, so there's major dwarven settlements, again, scattered around the world. When humans came into existence, they came into existence in this area here along this shore. So all the references you see to the first kingdom, all right, the first kingdom is approximately here. All right, and humans, they've spread in all directions. But again, because of the Great Strife, a lot of the spread that went this way got wiped out. This whole kind of central zone is chopped up into a number of kingdoms that are mainly run by humans. And you'll do notice that they encompass some of the elven forests and some of the dwarven delves. Fortunately, the humans are smart enough to know not to try to take over the delves and the forests. So those are like little enclaves carved out in the middles, but they're there. And the rest of the world, a lot of this stuff out here, and all of this stuff over that way, and this whole zone, it's not that it's unoccupied, because there are towns and cities along the way, but it's not organized, shall we say. All right, so there's a lot of independent towns and city-states and little fiefdoms. I'm sure, I haven't gotten to the lore of all of those, but, if there's a city along this coast, I'm sure there's somebody in it who thinks he's claiming a kingdom somewhere. But it's not a large recognized kingdom. So anyway, like I said, this is the world when it was first. I can zoom this. How much can I zoom this so you can see it? Yeah, about there. This is the world when it was first created. Oh, it's not going to let me, it's not going to show me my arrows if I zoom in. This is the world just before the Great Strife, and you'll notice the impact of humans. There's a lot of trees that have been cut along here to make farmland. There was a big chunk taken out of the Feywood, but the Feywood still reached all the way up here to the coast. Some of this stuff was trimmed out. There's a few other areas where the trees were thinned out. So you can start to see where the humans live. Here's the important change, though. In the 100 years of the Great Strife, and primarily because of the Blight, which was, again, one of my articles about the natural disaster, this is what it looked like after the Great Strife. So let's do a quick back and forth there, and you can see all the trees and all the farmland and all the forested areas that were pretty much badly beat up. So that was this is 2,200 years ago, and today some of those a lot of those areas are starting to come back, but as they come back, the humans are kind of running back into them. So although there are some areas where the forests have been re-expanded, for the most part, once the area comes back, it's coming back as farmland and tillable area because we humans are obnoxious and we take over everything. And we also reproduce faster than the elves and the dwarves do, so we can. So 4:30 p.m. for you tillers. Who else? What do we got here? I haven't been paying attention to chat. I should. Dazzly Cat, your world map is welcome, by the way, Dazzly Cat. Thank you for coming. So we answered where the dwarves live now. So they still live in the delves that they had occupied since the beginning of time. By the way, I do have a volcano or two floating around in here too, because you got to have a volcano. Oh, this big lonely mountain up here in the ice, that's also another dwarven delve. So anyway, like I said, so this is the map of today. All right, so this is certainly the map I need to be working with. And the first thing I wanted to do with that map, now I'm going to put this away, and I'll put this away. The first thing I wanted to do, I wrote up this article that actually just explains all of the things that I just said, and you'll see I have small copies of those maps embedded in here. But what I really want to start doing today is taking this map and playing with, and I've only started to do this, so you're going to get to see a lot of mistakes being made, which is going to be, by the way, a regular thing. My streams are going to be learned by doing streams, and if there's anybody out there that's watching that is more familiar with the tools than I am, please, please, please offer all help and assistance you can. What I'd like to do, though, is take that map of today and start pinning it up, shall we say, because I've identified these are the I have major mountain ranges, I have the major oceans and seas, a few other major bodies of water, some of which you might recognize from the articles, a couple of deserts, and the major forests. You asked about the delves. Here's how many delves exist right now. All but one of these is occupied. You'll notice this last one called the Lost Delve. That's my Mines of Moria. Someday I'll get there, and that one's going to be a fun dungeon crawl because it'll be a abandoned and taken over by who knows what dwarven city. So that one's going to be fun. And as you can see, the humans, and when I say the humans, it's not just humans, by the way. The humans might start the cities, but in this world, all of the races, there are elves that stay in the forest, and there are dwarves that stay in the mountains. But there are also elves that roam the rest of the world, looking for interest and beauty and all, and whatever it is that turns them on. There are dwarves who live out on the plains and who move into the cities and all of that. And of course we have the seafarers. By the way, the major seafarer city is right up here in the corner of that world. So the cities, I mean, humans might have been, they're probably the major population in most of these cities, but they're not the only population. There are elves and half-elves and dwarves and gnomes and halflings. The halflings tend to go where the humans go. They might be a little more small town and semi-rural, but again, they're all through the cities as well. So the cities are pretty cosmopolitan. And of course, these are just the major cities. Obviously, there are countless numbers of smaller towns and burgs and burbs. I need some burbs. So, what else did we see? Tillers found an interesting map. Okay, what does it look like? Let's find out. Is this safe for work? Map of the planet if you are fish. Yeah, I guess that would be about right. Because you wouldn't care about the land, would you? But all of Africa's there. That's interesting. Yeah, well, and again, I guess it's there, but it's not. You know. The perspective is definitely interesting. Oh, I love some of the things people come up with. Has anybody ever seen the map of the United States if you live in New York? Let me see if I can find that real quick. It's you know, it's great to have much less of an important schedule for the streams now. New Yorker map of the United States. Is this the one? I think this is the one. Yeah, the New Yorker magazine published this. Well, this is one of several I've seen. if you're in Manhattan, you got the Hudson River, New Jersey, and the whole rest of the country is just over there. That's not actually the one I was looking for. There's one that actually attempts to look like a map. That's a new one. I haven't seen this one before. Yeah, New York City is huge. Lake Michigan is there, but the other lakes aren't. Texas is the south. Yeah, map perspective can be a funny thing. I mean, you can make jokes about it, but you know, maps are all about perspective. So. In fact, Tillers, I don't know if you were here. Yeah, it's not just for New York. I know once the first one of those appeared, of course, every city in the, you know, somebody who lived in every major city in the world built one like it. I've seen the Brits' view of the world, and you know, England is about 4 times the size that it is, and you know, that's everybody does that. Yeah, I was talking earlier about map projections too, which is important. You know, I was saying I picked the projection I did because I wanted to try to preserve the shapes of the land masses north and south as much as I could. Now, by the way, I should add the downside to this projection. And again, if I bring this guy back up, and if I go back. Previous world. If I go back far enough, I should get back to my original. I don't know if it's going to give me. Oh, you know what? No, it's not going to give me. You know what I need to do is. Reopen the one I had. Yeah, this was the my world as generated once it gets up here. Now here by the way, this is one of the other projections that they give you. It's you know, what would the world look like from space? And if I zoom this out a little bit, we could see. You kind of see a whole globe. Let me shrink that down a little more. Yeah, so if you were flying in on a spaceship. this is what my world would look like. And again, this is the area of the Feywood. This is where the elves were raised and born. But I can spin this map around. And let's do it 90 degrees at a time. So now here's the Feywood over here. We can see this. You know, but map projections, you know, is a big deal, and this was my point. If I change this to one of the to a rectangular map, you know, again, the land masses get all distorted and twisted around the poles. The stuff around the equator stays nice. So anyway, back to what I was saying. What I want to start doing is starting to take this map and stick pins in it to connect it with the major geographical features. And that requires that I start playing with the real map capabilities in here. Okay, how we doing here? Let's see. Yeah, that map, that thing I just had up, I think, again, people have been coming in. That's a thing called Fractal Terrain Generator, or Fractal Terrains. It comes in a bundle with Campaign Cartographer. I think it's available separately, and if it's available separately, it might be a worthwhile purchase because, again, I don't know. I don't know who was here for it, but I walked through. You can basically just set up, I want the mountains to be this tall, I want there to be this much land, this percentage of land mass. I want the land masses to be a few large ones or a lot of small ones. And it creates a random seed and it'll generate a map, and if you don't like it, you just create another one. And you keep going until you get a map you like, and then once you have a map you like, you can do whatever you want with it. So let's see. When I get rated, I should talk about how I use World Anvil. Yeah, I will, hopefully. And in fact, I want to be kind of along the way here. Alright, so I do have my World of Cartyrion. I don't know what I have in it yet. Well, let's find out. Because like I said, I was just starting to do this stuff when summer camp hit. So some of this stuff is been around. That's copying this. So let's edit this map and see what I got. Let's see if it's even the right map to start with. Because it might not be. Oh, yes it is. Good. Is it? Yes, it is. This is the correct map. So, what I need to do is start pinning things. Now, one of the things... Oh, that's right. This polygon, I can use this to do things like lay out political borders, can't I? Is that correct? Is anybody out there who know? I guess I should play with these tools and see what each of them can do. So pins, asteroids, bridges, camp tent, capital, castle. Oh, that's interesting. I might be able to use some of these then for the cities. Yeah, there are city color city map things. Danger, desert. Lots of different choices for things. Oh, what does a forest do? Let's see. And then I drag and drop a pin. And Why did it tell me I couldn't do that? Oh, because I have to move this one. So if I wanted to map the Feywood, I would do that. And let's assume it's going to show up like that. And let's see what happens here. If I call that the Feywood, I can put a description in here. That's good. I can even do a related map. I can connect an article to it. That's fun. So I do have an article called the Feywood. And let's create a marker. Let's see what it did. Come on. Okay, do we like that marker? I don't like it in black. And I'm not sure I want it with the forests in it. This is one of the things I need to learn, I guess, is what kind of markers. Now here's the question, can I edit it? Edit. That lets me edit where the marker goes. Here's what we want. What else can we do with this? Oh, invisible is interesting. Let's see, Tillers is giving me some explanations here. Let's see. Even invisible areas where you just want to click point on a label. Let me start up. Let me catch up here. The polygon tool, sure, yeah, you click around an area and it's basically outlined. Then on mouse over to that area, you can add to click an article. So I can use that to define my kingdoms. You know, once I want to actually do political borders, I can do that. But I could make them invisible if I want. That's good too. Oh, maybe. Oh, that's a good point. And so instead of dealing with pins, if I just kind of outlined all the major areas but did them invisibly, then, you know, as long as somebody just hovers a mouse over anywhere in this forest, it's going to come up and say Feywood Forest. Is that what you're saying? Yes, excellent. All right, so why don't we try that? So let's just delete this pin. How do we get to do that? Let's see. I think for that I need to go back to the maps, right? Go back to the World of Cartyrion. I should have a list of markers underneath, and I can delete that. Okay. Yes, I'm sure I want to do that. So what I can do instead is I can come over here, select the polygon tool. Check this and drag and drop the new marker pin to create the polygon. So I check this. do this in wider mode, right? But now the pin's gone. Okay, so that doesn't work. Okay, so I gotta drag the pin over here, and then I just kind of click. Oh, I'll have to get rid of that first one then, right? So I click, and I click, and I click, and I click, and I click. We call it the Feywood. I link the article in. And I create marker. Okay, so what happens now if I go into presentation mode? It says the Feywood when I hover my mouse over it. How about that? That might be all I need. Now, will that one disappear when I create another one? I guess we'll find out, because I'll create another one now. Okay, stop. Thank you. Oh, let's see. The sad thing is I don't remember the names of all my forests. Let me bring back up my World of Cartyrion article. Oh, that was up there. I did have that up there. See, I didn't need that. So we got the Feywood. Okay, the first home. That I should have remembered that one. So now if I come over here, I guess I can zoom that out and then I don't have that same problem that I had before. Yeah, maybe not that much. So this time we're gonna, again, go to Polygon and click the check. And we're gonna come over here. And we're gonna click there. And click there. And there. And there. And there. And we'll close it. And I don't think I have an article for this one. Which means I should probably create it. For now, I'll just put a little... That'll do for now to remind me where it goes. And we'll create that mark. That mark. And let's do one more while we're here. So the trick is to get this pin over where I need it before I switch to Polygon. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. Can I leave out... Oh, you know what? I see how I can do this. Okay. This is going to be a challenging one because we go there. there, and there, and there, and there. We're going to kind of draw around the mountains here. Did I forget to check that? I forgot to check that, didn't I? Let's try this again. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I assume there's no limit. 8, 9, 10, and back to home is 11. And this one's called the dwarf wood because it surrounds the mountain in which the dwarves were first awakened. Alright, so let's see what we have now. Let's go back to presentation mode. Tiller says yes like that. Yes. You know, it's not dwarf trees. Again, this big mountain. Oh, okay. Oh, now that's because I ran my cursor in there quickly, I guess. Yeah, that is the dwarf wood. Unfortunately, it's pointing to the mountain. Maybe I'll want to break that into 2 pieces that both kind of look the same. I guess there's no reason I couldn't do that, right? Because I don't want it pointing to the mountain. I want it pointing to the trees. No, I can't do that. I can't create 2. Well, I'd have to come up with some different way to name the two. I can't have 2 points with the same. Oh, just mark the mountain and also give a name. Okay, I guess I could do that. But then the first home should also be here. Yep, that's good. That's here. And the Feywood is here. And now I see where the description is useful. So I can play with that. This is going to be fun. The markers just do not time out. No, the last one is going to stay up until I do something else. If I click. All right. It is 11 o'clock. I'm going to take a very, very brief bio break, folks. Please stick around. And I will be back in just a minute. Come on. quick raid soon. Alright, so I have to go back and put something into the Feywood, but I'm not sure what yet. Let's go back and get a few more of the forest to find. We did the first home, the Feywood, the Dwarfwood, the Icewood. The Icewood is... Is it this one or this one? I don't remember. Oh no. Okay, one of them is the North Grove, and one of them is the Icewood. This has to be the Icewood. And this would be the North Grove. Okay. At least that's what they're gonna be now. It's good to be the king. So we'll get that ready to move. We go back to Polygon. Check the box. Check. Check. We can cover the lake. Check. Check. We can jump right to there. And close that one. The Northwood. Create the marker. Keeps going back to that default point. And the Icewood. Kind of mess that made at the end there, but it'll be alright. Icewood. Alright, now here's a question. The styling part is this short white data from the original sheet. What am I looking at here? Oh, you're talking about something else here. You should start streaming your sheet building. Most boring stuff ever. Yeah, but you know what's? It may seem boring, but if there's somebody out there that needs it or that needs the help in learning how to do it, like me, you'll get somebody to watch. May not be the most popular stream in the history of. Alright, now here's an interesting question. Can I have two pins with the same name? Or do they have to be unique? Might do it lots of sheets in the queue. Because here's my challenge. Oh, okay. I was going to say, can I do two pins with the same name? Because here's my problem. Let me look over here. Let me show you over here. You see this forest and this forest? They're the same forest. So can I give them both so I can just name them, basically create two versions of the same, two pins with the same name, so that if you hover over either zone, you have it covered. All right, so let's do that one now. Let's do this side of that one. Again, I gotta bring the pin with me. Get it over there. Polygon. Boom. This is part of Cold Marsh Weald. Create marker. And then we do the same thing over here. Boom. And we call that one also Cold Marsh. And create a marker. Do we end up with two markers called Cold? Yes, we do. Yay. So now if I come back into presentation mode, probably have to refresh this. And now we have the Northwood, and we have the Icewood, and we have Cold Marsh Weald over here, and Cold Marsh Weald over here. Look at that. This is shaping up nicely. What am I missing? The Beech Woods? And is that all of them? Or did I call the Northwood? Did I call the North Grove the Northwood? I might have to change the name of that. I'll have to look. The Beech Woods looks like it's the only one left. Yeah, I did change. I am going to have to edit that one. I have to fix the title. And the Beech Woods is this guy along here. Does it stretch across to the other side? No. Okay. So that's good. So I can just come to here. Bring that over where I can see it. Make sure the whole forest is in place. I think I covered everything there. Okay, so we got the Beech Woods done. I need to change the name of the Northwood to be the North Grove. So we'll edit that. Save that. Let's see, how we doing here? Yeah, Tillers, are you the guy doing the sheets for Pathfinder? Hit a refresh. Only part of it. Which part? Beech Woods. Cold Marsh Weald. The North Grove is now the North Grove, right? Yep. The smallest part. That's helpful. I was just wondering if anybody was doing NPC sheets yet, because I could use them starting Thursday if they existed. I've actually toyed with the idea of I need to kind of get caught up with that now. Here's an interesting thing. All right, Cartyrion is a Pathfinder 2 based world. Having said that, um, it's there are going to be some customizations. I could certainly use Pathfinder 1 or Pathfinder 2, I should say, sheets and templates to cover everything I'm doing. I'm not changing. There's no rule changes so drastic that the templates wouldn't work. Um, but when it comes to publication, I have to be careful with what do they call it? What is it? Trade. What's the term for the font sets and the images and styles and shapes? Trade dress. Trade dress. That's it. So I'm going to need eventually to take the quote-unquote actual Pathfinder, depending on what they look like in here. If they mirror Paizo's trade dress, I'm going to need to clone them for myself anyway. But if I were a little more up to speed on this stuff, I would actually offer to help just to get the basic ones out there, just to help get the Pathfinder 2 system finished. But because like I said, the things I need, I've looked at the stuff that's there, and it's great. But I need NPCs and monsters, or creatures, or whatever you want to call it, and they're essentially the same template, because normally you don't define an NPC as a full-blown character, because it's a waste of time. You just hit them with the few attributes that they need to have to function as an NPC. Yeah, I don't know Davina. She doesn't do streaming, does she? He or she. I shouldn't say. I shouldn't even assume. Maybe I'll get in touch with Davina then and see at least what the schedule is. But that, like I said, I'm probably going to have to master that anyway, especially if I have to deal with changing the trade dress. So I think we just succeeded in putting all of the forests into the map. Now I can play with this. How can I play? I want to test one other thing. I had this dwarfwood. Let us, just to see what happens, create one for the Waking Delve, which is the mountain that's in the middle of that forest. Now, how touchy is it about overlapping areas, or does it care? I guess it probably doesn't care, unless I happen to be sitting in the middle of the overlap area. Let's find out. Boom. That's probably good enough. So let's see what that does. So now if I come over here, that says the dwarfwood, and now it says the Waking Delve, and then it goes back to saying dwarfwood. It's a shame that it points to the same thing, but at least it kind of serves its purpose. Like I said, I guess the other thing I could do though is split the dwarfwood in two, just like I split the Cold Marsh Weald in two, and have the top and bottom halves point to each other separately. Maybe I will do that. Yeah, the one on top will get the focus. Okay, so I could have drawn you say I could have actually drawn the dwarfwood as just encompassing this whole area, and then put this on top. And if I got into as soon as I got into that one, that's the one that would come up. I guess the next thing that might be interesting is, let's see what can I edit in these things. Let's start with the Feywood, because it's the one I care about the most. Right, that's the longitude, latitude. It's a circle polygon. We know that. I assume that remembers all its points. Yes, it does. Outline color. Fill color. Ooh. Fill color. We'll pick an easy one for the forest. We'll say green. Let's give it 50% opacity just so we see what's going on. Just again to see what's going on, I'm going to put a black outline on it with 50% opacity. So this is where we get to play and see what happens. Alright, so we've just modified the Feywood, saved the changes, right? Did they save? Did save the changes, right? Okay, they did save. So now if we come back to here and refresh this, and nothing is different. Did I not do something that I needed to do? Was the Feywood I changed, right? Yes, it is. Okay, what doesn't it like? Oh, it doesn't want the percent sign on the outline opacity. That's what the problem is. Please enter a number. I just did. Now it saved the changes. Okay, so now we can refresh this. Okay, so that was what I was afraid of. This will be excellent for my political maps, but it's not going to work for the geographical map. A World Anvil is wrapping up. Yeah, like I said, I know there's at least one other group streaming. I have no idea who they're rating, so I guess I have to hope. All right. So anyway, this tells me I do not want to do this for my physical maps because that looks ugly. But when I get to my political maps, I can trace out my political borders. I'd have to do that a little more carefully, obviously. But I can have the political border show up, and when you hover over a country, you'll get the country. So that will come in handy. It's just not going to come in handy for politicals. All right, last question, Tillers, I guess, if you're back. When I'm in these guys, well, the title is the title. Is there CSS control that I have over these things? You know, is there a way for me to? I'm not sure if there'd be a way for me to specify the different kinds of maps anyway, but let's see. What do I need to do? I need to choose my pin type again, and I want to get rid of all of this. You made a full second layer for the politicals, not using pins. Yeah, that's another way to do it. I haven't like I said, I'm just starting to figure out what the best way to do these things is. I'm going to have to talk to a few people, you included from the sounds of it, to see how best to lay these things into World Anvil, um, and then we can teach the world. So I think we're off to a good start here. Um, we I've got my forests. I have to go in and just put a little text on some of these guys to describe what they are. Eventually, they'll all have full articles behind them, of course. And there's the Waking Delve. Pardon me. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm not. I don't think I'm going to be using pin. The only thing I'll use the pins for, the cities will be handy. I think for pins that actually look like pins, but I can use the city pin for those. So, for example, I could. Coming over here and zooming in so I know where I am. I could let's pick an interesting color for the free cities. Let's pick red. And Mir is right about here. And let's see what that looks like. Yeah, because the cities are far enough apart that those pins won't get offensive. This, by the way, is the only problem I have with these pins, is that the pins don't scale. Pardon me while I choke to death here. The pins don't scale when you zoom the map in and out. It looks kind of silly. But I guess you don't want the pin to disappear into nothingness either if you scale the map out too far. But the major cities are far enough apart that I can get away with that. So like I can do that one. I know I can do another one. I know I can do right now just to get that kind of over there. Cliffport's right about here. Maybe I want to make those capitals too. Let's see what the capital looks like. Cliffport. I don't have an article for that yet. Pardon me a second. Okay. So I guess I'm not being rated today. Oh well. I had fun yesterday. So now we should have 2 pins. And there's Cliffport. And there's Enmere. I think I will use the capital to denote that they're independent. I can color code some of these too to put the cities in different countries, but I don't know if I want to do that. OWA stream is still going. Okay. They're going long today. And like I said, I think there's at least one other stream that's going on alongside of me anyway, so there's only a percentage chance that they get me. Yesterday I was lucky. I think yesterday I was the only one on when they came off. And it was great because before that I think the most I ever had was 15 people in chat. All of a sudden I had 130 something. That does wonderful things for your Twitch numbers. So okay, so we're making some progress. Got a couple of cities posted. Now I'll have to go back just so everybody sees what I'm working from. I have a series of maps that were generated in my old campaign cartographer. And just so let's go through these real quick just so we can see everything that's there. We've seen the terrain. Oh, I can make sure I got my Elven Woods all right, because I had named them once. Let me pop these all up one at a time. We'll go through them. Because I know people were asking too, where do the dwarves live and so forth. We'll get to see where the elven homes are and where the dwarven homes are. If it ever decides to open this file, that is. Come on. Yeah, you can do it. I knew you could do it. We'll keep it small. Come on. I really need a faster CPU. Where'd it go? It died. Let's try that again. Not only did it die, it actually took with it the album that I had up with the 4 city maps, or the 4 world maps in it. So I guess it got confused. Hello? Don't you love waiting for things? E-song, sorry, Morlo. Yeah, you have to start getting ready for your stream. Yep. No, it's yeah, Tillers. It's good that they're showing off World Anvil. I know when the group came in yesterday, there were a bunch of people that had never heard of World Anvil, and they get dropped into a middle of a word sprint on my stream. So that there were a lot of what's going on here. Fortunately, there were also a lot of other community members that were willing to explain it quickly. And some of them stayed, and I noticed at least one of them stayed and lingered through a bunch of other people's streams during the course of the day. So I think we got at least one convert out of it yesterday. Why is this behaving like this? Let's start with a different one. Let's see if we can get the Dwarven Delves up. There we go. Okay, so if Songbird's still out there looking, you asked where the dwarves live. There's the map of all of the major dwarven residences, and you'll notice, by the way, this is what a map looks like coming out of Campaign Cartographer. I like the incarnate version much better. So we have that. Oh, now I can pop through. Okay, there's the elven forests. Oh, good. I got the North Grove and the Icewood right. So that's good. What else do we have here? That's the original terrain. Those are all the cities. That's that whole list of cities that you saw there. And there's my political borders. Those are the kingdoms of man. So you can see that, again, there are large swaths of unclaimed territory, but not unpopulated territory. There's at least a city down here. This is the area, again, of concentration that I'm simply calling the frontier. And again, for those of you who read the history, the first kingdom is this blue outlined one here. That used to stretch all the way out to Enmere before the Great Strife, and during the Great Strife it got pushed all the way back behind that mountain range. I am really struggling this morning. So, do I want to keep going? You know what, I should have left that up and kept the cities up, and I could have started popping more city pins in here. Because the real question is, how do I want to do this map? How does layering work? Because maybe the way to do it would be to have a layer for the forests and a layer for the delves and a layer for the cities. So that I don't end up with one map that's got, that everywhere you move there's something popping up on the top of something else and you don't know what you're actually looking at anymore. That might be a better way to approach it. Because especially by the time I finish putting 20-odd city pins through here, there's going to be big red pins all over the place. Yeah, especially this area around here is going to start getting awfully populated. I can put markers in. Oh, there we go. Layer list on the top right. That's what I need to find. Oh, layers. How about that? Layers. And marker groups. How about that? Okay, so in other words, if I create a layer called the Great Forests. I can then come in here and okay, how does this work? Change marker group, let's see. Oh, I didn't create a marker group yet, did I? I need layers and marker groups. Yeah, of course. Forests. for now, I'm going to check this on. We'll play with it later. So I'm going to have a forests. Okay, and now I can put this in forests, and I can put this in forests, and I can put this in forests, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and then I can come back to marker groups for the moment, and I can create one called cities. I will not make that one initially visible. And I can put Cliffport into cities, and Endmere into cities. Okay, and now I have a layer called... Did I create a layer before? Didn't I create one? I guess I didn't. Did I not check something before? Or the Great Forest? They are finished. Okay. So now I do a create layer. Looks like no raid today. Yeah, well, oh well. So what did that do? Not creating it here. Why not? What am I not doing right here? Delian, how's it going? Come to what? Make sure you select an image before submitting. I don't have an image. Oh, do I have to have an image for the... Oh, is that how this works? Is that how the layering works? Is this actually a copy of the map? All right, now that I have the marker groups, how do I turn them on and off? Is my question. All right, so if I have this map and I refresh everything now, I should now not see the cities because I said I didn't want them on initially. Oh, I click that. That's how I do it. Surprise, surprise. So this isn't a layers thing, it's a markers group thing. How do layers work though? Is it actually a whole new image of the map? Okay, so I can do this, and this lets me turn on and off. You know, I can have my elven forests and dwarven delves and whatever I want to call them. And we can play with all of those, and that's good. If I did, you know, you said you set up additional image layers, and what, it just overlays on top of the map, or... Oh, there's a raid coming. Who's coming in? World Anvil's coming in. Uh-oh. Coming in for the last 15 minutes, huh? Welcome, everybody. Oh, yeah, we're here. With World Anvil with 63 or 102, or 63 and 102. That's cool. Nice map. How did I make it? The short answer is I started off with a map generated in fractal terrain which is a tool that some people have. Not this map, but again, let me bring up real quick the one that actually is for this world. Fractal terrain is a wonder. I use fractal terrain to get my coastlines because it lets me just get that scaled. It lets me play around with map projections. I've said this a few times here for anybody else. I use this map projection because it does a better job than a lot of the others of keeping the polar areas true. And I can rotate it around to focus on the zones that I want. But I use fractal terrain generator to basically to give me the coastlines and the seas and the idea of where the mountain ranges go. And then this map itself was basically taking that fractal terrain generator map into Incarnate, laying it down as an underlayment essentially, and then retracing the borders. And this was all this map was done in Incarnate. You know, and real quick and dirty. I didn't spend a lot of time. I'm no Delian. I'm not. I don't have the talent, at least not yet, to spend the hours in Photoshop that he does, and I love the stuff that he does. But it serves the purpose. So you know, I've been telling people Incarnate, you know, is it's a good, easy to use tool. I like the look of the maps. They're nice and sharp, and you can see even when I zoom this in. You know, I still have some, you know, good sharp coastlines. There's probably a few spots where you can see a little leakage, where I didn't quite cover things in the underlayment map. And what I've started doing is identifying, I guess let me jump over here again. This is, I've put together an article some time ago that basically does the, you know, that's a master for an atlas. And what I've been doing today is starting to plug in the identifiers for where all of the important things are. And what we did today was we got the Elven forests all identified, the major forests. I still have to put some identifying, some descriptive text on some of them. But we got the Elven forests, and just for an experimentation, we got the first two of my 20-odd cities to be done, pinned in. That just leaves me with all these mountain ranges, all these oceans, all these inland seas, a couple of deserts, a whole bunch of dwarven delves. Oh, we did get one dwarven delve done. And as you can see, a big list more of major cities. And that's not to mention political kingdom boundaries when we get in. So I'm going to have a lot of work to do. Why did that disappear? Those of you who are following my world and have wondered, this is the forest that the elves were first created in. They've spread across the world from here. This is the forest where all of the action is taking place in my current world stuff. Here is the mountain where the dwarves were first awakened, but they too have spread all over the place. I mean, they've got delves everywhere now. They're not all marked now, but there's one here, there's one here, there's one here. There's actually one down near the South Pole too. So they're scattered all over the place too. Everybody is pretty well scattered. Do I have a place to see? Yes, I do. I am actually, I'm a little behind, but I am putting these all my streams over onto my YouTube channel, and I guess I need a good way to advertise that. Maybe I'll put something in my host bot to provide the YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I'm not, I don't rate enough with YouTube to have a YouTube channel that has a real name on it. So it's one of those ones with the real large, ugly strings. Thank you, Isaac. It is on my World Anvil author profile, and it is on my Anvilite Streamer Core profile. So what I really do need, to do is figure out a good way to get that there. Also on that YouTube channel, just a little personal plug here, I guess, as we're running out of time. Long before, not long before, 7 months before I found World Anvil, I started building this world, and I decided from the beginning to experiment with with video media and have a little fun with it. So the first step I had in building the world was to start to lay out the pantheon and the cosmology. Who created this world and how did it get populated? So I have a series actually of 10 videos that go through at least an outline or an overview of the gods of Cartyrion and how the thing was. I have some nice cheesy video effects for the actual creation of the world. None of it is very high tech, but it was fun, and that's actually something I want to get back into, and I'm hoping that some of these streams will help with that. I can pull some excerpts and overdub them, to turn a 2-hour to turn 2 hours of Tillers teaching me how to use these tools into 15 or 20 minutes of me passing that knowledge on to other people. That's actually something that's on my radar. Hopefully I'll have time to do it. A lot of spinny images, surely. Yes, another hydrate warning there, a couple of them. Thank you. Yeah. So anyway, Antler Dancer. Yeah, I'll try. I need to. What I'll do for my next stream, and again, for those of you who just came in, just a quick explanation. If you've been doing my streams during summer camp, obviously the summer camp streams were all about articles. My Sunday streams, I'm going to be streaming 3 days a week. The Sunday streams are going to be map oriented. And when I say map oriented, sometimes it'll be making maps. Sometimes it'll be doing what I'm doing here, which is, connecting the maps into the rest of the World Anvil assets, and actually building out the Atlas of Cartyrion. So there'll be a little, there'll be a lot of World Anvil related stuff, even though it's focusing around maps. My Tuesday streams are going to be conventional article writing. If we want to do word sprints, I'll do writing sprints. I will do article showcases on anything and everything. So anybody that wants to have some, any of their work reviewed or whatever, Tuesday is the best day to do that. On Thursdays, I'm going to, again, it's going to be certainly World Anvil focused, but on Thursdays, I'm going to focus on the campaign-related adventure, DM tools. Basically, how to put together an adventure and the how to put together the stuff that shows up on your storyteller screen if you're the DM in a campaign. So that's going to be the focus of Thursdays, and the Thursday streams are 2.5 hours, because that's where I need to spend a lot of time. So it made sense to make that one the slightly longer one. So that's my streaming calendar for the foreseeable future, I guess, at least until World Ember. I have a feeling World Ember is going to turn back into summer camp, as far as what the streams look like. But And there might be a few other specials if there's other challenges or whatever somewhere along the way. We'll devote a little time to those. Um, so that's it. Again, I am not, and I'm new to World Anvil. I will say right off the bat, I am not an expert in the adventure and campaign stuff. I am not an expert in the mapping stuff. If you come to watch me, you're going to learn right along with me. So, but that can be fun. Um, Hopefully, we'll have people. Tillers gets my praise and honor today. He was my stream tutor for a lot of these features that are working here. That makes sense and that you could figure out on your own, but it's much faster and much more pleasant to have somebody hold your hand through some of this stuff. So hopefully I will be able to pass that favor forward to others. Yeah, Antler Dancer. I saw you. You came in on the Gen Con stream too yesterday. Um, there's yeah. This is a wonderful community. You're more than welcome. Not just the streaming community, but in addition to the streaming community, there is a huge and very active and supportive if you're doing any kind of writing, whether that's for RPGs or novels or short stories or just for your own edification. There's a huge Discord community. Um, it's fantastic. I mean, it's um, I found it by accident a couple days ago, just before summer camp, and summer camp has been one of the best things that's happened to me in quite a number of years. So I won't put it up there with having my children and getting married, but it's almost close. So. So with all of that said, it's going to be time to start wrapping up. Do I have any specific thank yous to do here? Yes, okay, a couple of new follows that I didn't mention. Mika Roshandra and Navy Calcrow, thank you very much for the follows. Were there a few others? Were there any else? Yes, Candida Bandita, nice name. Thank you for the follow. And what we're going to do now is raid one of my favorite people in the whole Anvilite Streamers Corps, and that would be E Songbird. I'm sure she's going to have a lot to say. I know she's doing. This is I think her stream is going to be focused on a summer camp wrap up. So especially you new folks, if you want to really see and hear what summer camp was like as an experience for all of us, then stick around for this raid that I'm about to launch pretty much right now. And to everybody else, thank you very much for coming along. Hope to see you Tuesday. And let us go a raiding. I need to come up with a better raid slogan, but for now, it's trample with as many extra letters as you'd like, and I don't see E-Song yet. Are you up yet, E-Song? E-Song, where you are up? Does Twitch not know you're up yet? Twitch does not know you're up yet. Let's go to the phone and see if she's on there. I didn't get an alert. Oh, there you are. You're there. Are you here? You're not here. That's interesting. All right, we'll have to do it the hard way. Songbird 24601. thank you everybody for coming, and have a good day. Rating in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we go.